Check, check. Oh, I hear feedback now. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Okay. Check. Test.
A very good morning from King City. We are up and live for the 2025 TD Men's National Championship. After a long week's arm wrestle, here are the teams in the qualifying stage. We've got the semi-finals between the Brock Badgers and TMU, Toronto Metropolitan University. It's the first game. To keep you guys updated, there are two semi-finals played at King City Maple Leaf Cricket Ground. This being Ground A, and at Ground E, you've got another encounter between the Ontario Tech University and the UTSC. There's a bit of fumble from Isaiah Fernandez. That's unnecessary. Straight away, this is what the Brock Badgers would have expected. Novice cricket from Arth Kuesekar. After a little fumble from Isaiah Fernandez, not quick on the call, bad communication resulting in a first wicket. Turns out to be a warm day. It's going to get a little hotter in the afternoon as we proceed. A bit of more dry air. Might not be any swing assistance for the bowler. A beautiful day of cricket to be here at King City to witness this TD Men's National Championship. After a week of hard work, of what we have seen over rain, over logistics moved, here we are. Today is the day of judgment. Today is the day you've waited long to lift that silverware. Out of 10 teams, there's only going to be one winner who's going to dominate all of the 9 other teams and will make their mark in finals. That'll be first run on the scoreboard for TMU in the form of wide. 20 overs game to what we've seen previously, the format being curtailed due to weather conditions while it was rainy and damp. That's a full toss, driven away with authority. First runs coming off from the bat for Isaiah Fernandez and will be a boundary as well. Was a gift too full from Hassan Raza. Was usually at times picky with the length and the length he bowls at. This is what Isaiah would have expected, to free his arms, to give a bit of confidence after that run out of his teammate Arth Kuesekar. Two brothers in the same squad, Arth and Arav. Straight up. That's wafted and dropped. That had to be taken. That was a setter being dropped. Hassan Raza not happy, usually not that animated. That was poor shot selection from Isaiah Fernandez, just trying to loft the ball up. Had no connection, no proper timing. I do believe that TMU has not taken lessons from the past games where their top order failing to fire. It was in the very end then their lower middle order coming down and swinging the bat to get runs in that T10 format against Waterloo University. That was a very tight game. End of first over. Could have been 2 wickets, but only a wicket in the form of run out. 7 runs on the scoreboard after first over. It's going to be a heavy penalty with the drop of Isaiah Fernandez. And this is what Brock Badges and Hassan Raza would be expecting, that Isaiah not being able to find the rhythm. 10 quality teams taking part in this 2025 TD Men's National Championship. I've seen that Niagara Cricket Centre the very first day on 25th when the game was moved to Niagara Cricket Centre between Brock Badgers and their batting. I remember having a conversation with Arshdeep Kalra, the captain, Archie. He was telling that he may not have his full-fledged team. Good bounce of the wicket for Mikhail. And you gotta be patient because this is a 20-over game. You're coming from a format that you've played for 10 overs and you want to swing at everything. But 6 overs power play. Only 2 fielders who are going to be outside the circle. And with the new ball, different condition, different weather today, you'd want to see how the ball is behaving before you make your shots. And anything for a batter, he thinks, is in a key strength and an excellent line. Teasing the batter. You want to keep that as a bowler. Got a first ball, got good bounce, and then bowled a bit more fuller. With Isaiah. It's just going to get interesting because if you look at the combination, the TMU playing against Brock Badgers, that is a peach of a delivery. You're just teasing the outside edge and you would have wanted the batsman to feather it. The best he could have done here is to survive, and he's done at his very best. Arav is bowling beautifully. Mikhail, and he should be consistently looking at that line what he's bowling, not letting that overconfidence get over his head. Hassan Raza inside the circle, very much experienced to give confidence to Mikhail. Picked up, shot of the length, and a great shot from Arav. Just a tad bit short. You'd say that quick to read the ball, quick to adjust himself and swivel across. two balls that he bowled, Fuller, that was much better line from Mikhail. Might have tried getting between the wickets, might have thought that he'd play against the line. Arav. Much better. Early stages, a bit more dew on the out when you were taking walk on the outfield. Could see field being slightly sloppy. Two times there was a fumble inside the circle, right there at the point region. One catch dropped, and this is what you do not want to do in your semi-final. Takes on, is not connected. It's not going to be easy there. If he would have only committed to that, might have been one of those blinder of catches in the tournament. We've seen some spectacular ones. The one between the University of Waterloo. Just threw his bat, not near the line of the ball. He almost got there, just stretching his arm out. Did not fully commit is what you can say when you take a look on the replay. However, 2 overs done, 12 for 1. And alarming in 2 overs what you've seen from Brock Badgers with the field effort they've displayed here. A bit of ordinary cricket by Brock Badgers, having the expectations coming into the final against UTSC in the GTA Cup 2025. The game going down to the wire. A bit of tussle. And then in the semi-finals of the very much prestigious TD Men's National Championship, a bit disappointed. See, the initial 2 overs go for Brock Badgers. And especially that first over catch dropped on the bowling of Hassan Raza. Driven on the up to the sweeper. And talking about the combination of the semi-final, I think this tournament is nicely poised here, because if Brock Badgers win and on the other ground against the Ontario Tech University, the UTSC win, it's going to be a tug of war between Brock Badgers, and it's going to be a bit of flashback taken to both the teams of the GTA Cup, what has happened. It only gets interesting. And with Ontario Tech and TMU, I tell you, former champions 2024 who are defending the title, TMU, there's a lot for them on the line to lose. Ontario Tech on the other side. They walked in as the dark horses. We've had a conversation about them being a very strong side in the tournament, and that is what they've displayed. One disappointment would have been for University of Waterloo, who were very close to get into the stage of semi-finals, the qualifiers, and then just a bit of one game that went wrong for them was against TMU. And that is because of the masterclass bowling from Kunal and Shazil. And you got to remember, this is a high quality tournament and you cannot let the chances go. You have to be on the prowl here. You got to make your first mark. You got to strike first. And if you let the opposition do the striking, it's going to slip away from your hand. The game is just going to slip. That boundary played into the fine leg region by Arav must have given him some confidence. A little poke there. Much better, and you'd want to see a bit of more aggression from Hassan Raza. He's a little deflated after that first catch drop with the amount of experience he's bowling with. He needs to know that he can create one more chance if he sticks to his quality of the bowling that he bowls. Uses subtle variations. Good leave there. Gotta stick to that line with Isaiah Fernandez and Arab, who's faced 10 deliveries. You gotta keep asking questions to the batter that if they're going to take that big stride forward, take a drive towards you, be it T20, be it T10 or any format of the game, if that's your line, it's gonna cause trouble to any batter, even the top tier. So far, a wide and 3 runs off the bat. 4 in total coming in this over. Chipped up. Outstanding. Just harassing over. And gets there as a... Just take a look at that, how he plays that. Gets a little off shape. Loses his balance. But nothing might have caused him a bit of trouble, because his timing on the shot was excellent. 3 overs, 20. There you go. A bit of more hard hands from Isaiah Fernandez. You could see that he's just trying a little too hard, and this can be a call and a chink that the bowling team can exploit. Might try to attack back at the length for him. Whereas for Arav, I've seen him be good on that shot into the leg side. A bit more on the offside to test him to see what he's got. He's got an excellent first over. Mikhail. I'd shift my bid from Hassan Raza to Mikhail here for this over, because in the very first over, he was really good, picking on that length. Just one bad ball, just like that. Let him play that. Let him take the bait if he's taking on that expansive drive. You gotta set the batter up, because Arav, who likes to play that on the up, that drive, just take a look. He's not moving completely across, covering his fourth stump. There's a chance when you're not moving, you're lacking that lateral movement in the crease. There's a high chance that you might be nicking off to the keeper. And for Mikhail, he needs to attempt to bowl more consistently on that line to Arav. Much better. Tramping. From the last over, the conversation a bit more seeing between the wickets to Isaiah, because he's just trying to go a bit more harder with his hands on the shot. It's going to get him frustrated with that sort of ploy between the stumps. Does look like a wicket there. Isaiah Fernandez was getting restless, makes mistake and pays the price. Again, that hard hands is throwing himself, losing the shape. It's a bit more lacking concentration, where he was trying to go at everything thrown at him. And the captain Arshdeep Kalra collects the other half of the rest to dismiss him. 2 wickets down for TMU. Well-deserved wicket for Mikhail, who's worked hard in the first over, got the reward in the second. Gotta keep it attacking, because especially if you were Isaiah Thomas as a bowler, you were able to read that sense that he was going to take on with the pressure building on him. The second ball, when he tried to loft the ball in the air and that catch spilled, you could sense a bit of uneasiness from him, that he wanted to make it count. Carved away nicely. Four overs, 22 for 2. Chanseni, new bowler into the attack. There's one Saini from TMU, Harjab Saini, who bowled tight overs, helped TMU walk across the line, winning the game against the Waterloo Warriors. Was a crucial game. You could have make the disappointing faces of the Waterloo Warriors. They badly wanted to be in the qualifiers. It's one of those prestigious tournament that you want to bring your best game out. And when I say that, there's going to be a heavy heart when these teams walk out losing the game here from this qualifier stage. A year long they've waited for this moment. Right in front of you, on your screens, in front of us, presented to them. And the T10 format, Brock Badgers against Wilfred Laurier, scoring over 100 runs, 125, 130. A bit ambiguous there with the score, but over 110 runs in 10 overs. Their solid opening, explosive batters do have that potential. So TMU gotta make sure. Here. Away. A missed field has been very alarming for me. The type of fielding effort, one dropped catch, and it was the captain on the second wicket. He collected a good catch. It was hit with force, despite Isaiah Fernandez losing his shape in the end. Whereas for TMU, still the power play, I am still thinking what the approach is from Arav, having one more over remaining with 2 balls to go in this over. You lost your 2 wickets, agree on that. Might be trying just to settle there, understand how the wicket's behaving. Bowling very contrasting for both the teams, whereas for TMU, heavy on their spin diet, whereas Brock Badgers a bit more reliant on their paces. Gotta keep your fielders attacking. A very relaxed unit at the moment on the field. Brock Badgers with 5 overs done, 25 for 2, going at 5 and over. TMU does look like they're very comfortable going 5 and over with 1 over remaining with the power play. Good move from the captain to bring on Mikhail. Got a wicket in his second over. Was looking in good touch and good rhythm. You might try to get one more wicket. You'll have to trouble the batter a bit more on that fourth stump. When any one of you who's just watching cricket and learning. Oh dear, could have been a catch there. Where is the batter thinking that he is going? Poor running between the wickets. And that's what the coach would be fuming upon. Stop watching the ball and complete your run. I'm not sure if it's the Brock Badgers or the TMU who've woken on the other side of the bed today. Because the fielding has been very ordinary. With the expectation set from the Brock Badgers, and whereas for the wicket and the approach from TMU, very steady. Cleaned up. He does the job, and that's the timber. Mikhail gets one more. Ends the misery of the batter, sends him back to the pavilion. You miss, I hit. Completely outfogs the batter here. Had no clue. Looked like he just wanted to place his bat dead in front of the ball. Could have done a bit more better, Captain Shazil Salman. A long walk for him with 7 balls faced and 2 runs scored. 3 wickets down. Mikhail doing the damage. Back of the length, Yash Patel. New to the crease, gets off the strike. Two wickets for Mikhail, and the third over that he was bought on, the captain using his third for the right purpose and has delivered with a wicket. A slower one attempted. This has to be one of the slowest power play overs with the run rate they're going at 4.76. This is a big game for both the teams here. Semi-finals, I'm sure they've got big shoes to fill in. Last year it was Angad Bhatia in the finals who scored a blistering knock, took the game away from the opposition, stood there like a lone warrior. Stylish, very stylish. Played into the leg side. A bit of more flick or a drag, you could say, from hockey that's played on. Finally, a boundary, two full. Had to get the treatment for the wrong line bowl. And this is one of those fascinating tournaments, the TD Men's National Championship, where you see every year a fresh name, a fresh talent come out and shine. That'll be end of power play with 3 wickets lost. TMU under pressure, score only 31 runs, going at 5.17 and over. Right back at the bowler. There has to be an approach. There has to be a plan devised here. Whereas for the Brock Badgers as well as for TMU, because right now, even for our viewers, they might be thinking what's actually happening with this tournament standard set so high in the 10 overs format the teams have played, because you can surely see huge gaps in the field and those singles and doubles being dried up. The captain, the coach from TMU would be telling, make sure you're trying to maneuver the ball in the gaps, or if not, if the captain of Brock Badgers, you gotta think a bit more attackingly, thinking that I'm gonna call my fielders up and think and ask the question to the batter if you've got the guts to take the shot, because right now both the teams trying to make a steady approach, whereas for Brock Badgers, they're right in the game. They've taken 3 wickets already, the top order, top scalp taken. They've got an opportunity to penetrate through, get the middle order off, get one more wicket, put some more pressure on the batting team. That can only happen when you can get your fielders a bit more attacking instead of they coming from the circle, walking up on the ball. It's okay if the batter is even trying to score over the head of the bowler or over the head of the fielders. Gives a bit, at least a perspective for the bowler to understand what the batter is trying to do. Takes him by a surprise. "33 for 3. This is the seventh over. We are almost getting to a stage where half of the innings will be completed. Can push for 2, but I'll only be going to happy with 1. 7 overs done, 34 for 3. Mikhail in his last over. Again, that spot we've seen in the last over from Jayant Saini, where it took Yash by surprise. The same erratic bounce of the wicket. Not many runs scored in the V. You can call in your two fielders inside the long off and long on to be a mid on and mid off, and try to give a bit more heavy protection onto that offside for Arav as well, because that's where he's tried to squeeze the runs out, stop those ones and twos to see what Arav's going to do, get more pressure on, a bit more walk on him with your fielders. I guess fielding has to be that one important part of the game where at times fitness was compromised, but not anymore. Be any sports, be it cricket or any part of the sports, any sport that you're playing, fitness paramount. Because earlier when T20 was introduced, fitness not being consequential. Dabbed away. Okay, we've got someone who's very important that you might have known on the CVC News. I've got Stephen alongside with me. Firstly, very good morning. Thanks for coming, Stephen.
Thank you for
Taking
having
your
me.
important time. And what do you make out of this? Because this is one of those prestigious tournament, TD 2025 Men's National Championship. You know that cricket's been on the surge. What do you make out?
I think, yeah, it's Stephen D'Souza here with CBC News, and it's a real pleasure to be here. What a beautiful day for cricket here, and I'm actually a TMU alum. I went to TMU back when it was Ryerson in the late 90s, and it's just amazing to see the growth of the game. I can't imagine having a tournament like this back when I went to university, and it's just amazing to see the game growing as it has, and the level of competition here today has been amazing. Some great bowling, some great fielding, some great batting as well. So just a fantastic day and some amazing cricket.
As you mentioned, you're already alum of TMU. I'm not going to ask that what team who you might be supporting. Looking at the scoreboard, I'm sure you might be saying that this is not the way they might be playing. But any which ways, Canada has been performing, getting that ODI status back, and someone who understands. I think cricket being a distant cousin of baseball,
Hmm.
and the sports is just growing and getting the right love. And how important do you think this format, this organization as CCUC is important for the game?
Yeah, I think especially the T20 format I think is especially important because it essentially shrinks the running time of the game down to, essentially the length of a baseball game. And, that's always been one of the biggest barriers I found at CBC. I've been at CBC for 25 years now, and over those years I've always tried to push cricket stories, explaining cricket to people, getting it more into the mainstream. And one of the biggest barriers I always found was people would say, "Oh, but don't they take 5 days to play and don't they stop for tea?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes, they do in some formats, but when you talk to them about this kind of format and they see how exciting it is, and one thing that one fact that I always like to throw out that kind of blows people's minds is the IPL and the television contract for the IPL, the multi-billions of dollars. And the NHL has a big television contract, and everyone thinks hockey is the biggest thing, but when you tell them how much broadcasters pay the rights for the IPL, it dwarfs the NHL. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it dwarfs what the NHL's rights, and so it really puts things into perspective for people. And as you said, it is a distant cousin to baseball, and so I always tell people, if you can understand baseball, you can understand cricket. It's just a matter of reconfiguring your mind in the field, the bases. It's not that hard, and then once people get to understand the nuances of it, it's amazing to see people take the game under their wing. And in the summer, there's a tournament, the Mayor's Trophy, that SEMA, the Chartered Institute Management Accountants Association, puts on with the City of Toronto. And I've been fortunate over the years to. Oh,
There's a cry there.
there was a cry there. What do we say? No. Guess we don't have VAR.
Probably
That's
a bit more.
maybe coming down the road. I think that was a good call by the umpire there. But yeah, I think I've been fortunate over the years to organize a CBC team for that, and my goal with that was always to introduce new people to the game. So people who would play for the first time, who would hold the bat over their shoulder as opposed to holding it down, thinking it was baseball. So it's always been a pleasure of mine to introduce new people to the game.
Yeah, and I think what you've mentioned about people holding the bat right next to the shoulder, that reminds me of one of the events that I was in with CCUC with Jack Aloop, collaborating with one of the communities, and one of the police officers wanted to come. And I think people who've played baseball at times have better connection with the bat because baseball bat is more cylindrical and
Hmm.
you've got less width that you might be able to connect. Whereas with the cricket bat, you've got more width on the cricket bat, and I think anyone who can play baseball is much more can be
Good shot.
drawn to cricket as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, good shot there. I've never actually done play-by-play for cricket, so this is a first for me. I have to say, over all these years, that was a good shot. I have to say.
Well, I think you've got that innate talent to understand what a shot looks like, so I think it's your innate ability, just natural.
Because when I go up to bat in my limited time playing charity cricket games, I always wish I could do that in my mind. I think that's the kind of shot I can make, and I never actually,
Did you get
never
bowled
actually hit
out?
it that well. Uh, no, what happened last time? I No, I got caught out last time.
Well, that's
Um,
very honest.
yeah,
I
I
wouldn't say
did
if
get
I
caught.
was you that I was caught out.
No,
I would
no,
have
sorry,
made up the
no, no.
story.
Yeah, I had there was one time we played where it came down to the last ball, and we in the last one.
Nine was done. 46 for 3. Well, continuing the conversation, I think the similarity, the resemblance in the game about the cricket ball seam and the baseball seam is that you've got four seam, two seam. That where I was trying to learn with a pitcher, how he tries to use that seam when pitching to the batter. So I think a bit of more similarity. It's just the format that is different because whereas for the cricket, you have exogenous factors that are involved. That is like the pitch, the weather, the dew, and etc. that gets into because how moist is the wicket, and you gotta feel. You need to understand what the weather looks like because one wrong call and you're taking the game completely different into a different line.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much nuance to the game that I think once people get past the initial, understanding and just understanding the basics, once they start to understand some of those factors you put in, like we have I guess is he an off spinner here, bowling now? Once they start to understand these little intricacies of the game, it just deepens people's appreciation for the sport for sure.
And the length as well, very much similar to a baseball game, 3 hours if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong. Baseball game goes for 3 hours,
yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
the
baseball itself has even been trying to work with the length of the game. They introduced a pitch clock now, and they're trying to really shorten the game because everyone's competing for attention now, right? And I think the good thing about cricket, especially in Canada, it's really on the rise. You see more and more people playing, more and more demand for pitches around the country. I did a story for the National a few years ago on CBC about the demand for more cricket grounds, and places like Brampton, Mississauga, that are still growing communities have the ability to build new pitches, whereas a place like Toronto,
that's a poor ball.
yeah,
Could have hit anywhere.
he was fortunate there not to get caught there.
Well, I think 2026 being on the horizon and the talk of the town has been that Canada going to 2026 T20 World Cup and getting a victory against Ireland was a big boost for everyone's confidence as well. And
Yeah,
that very first game, the opener between USA and Canada, was that heart-wrecking because US and Canada, that's a shot,
that's the
is
shot.
picked up.
Watch out on Dufferin Street. That's going for a ride.
That's one of the biggest shots I've seen so far in the tournament and has to be the biggest because he's picked the bones out of that one.
That was
Are
a
you,
lovely shot.
as a spinner, you cannot bowl. That's a cardinal sin. You're
Oh,
giving him a gift.
indeed, yeah. There's a line that an old sports editor hated us using, but we'd say Christmas came early because that ball was gift wrapped for him for sure. Luckily, it's a Saturday morning and traffic is light on Dufferin Street, so there was no traffic impacted by that shot, but definitely took that ball for a ride. One more time. Yeah, yeah, you go.
Well, that was a fantastic shot. Went over the nets, the newly established nets that were just built here 3 weeks ago to protect the very thing that just happened here. So, what a magnificent shot.
Might have to go back to the drawing board on the measurements for the height of those nets, I think.
Well, they did what they got approved for. But we appreciate the hard work here from the groundsmen from the Maple Leaf
Absolutely,
Cricket
yeah.
Club.
Yeah,
They've done some fantastic renovations this year to just make the game more friendly for everyone and have safety. A lot of cyclists come back here and they use this route here on weekends, and a lot of vehicles. So definitely a good safety precaution. But
absolutely. Yeah, shout out to the groundskeepers here for maintaining this field. For decades, this has been the heart of cricket in Canada here.
coming in now, I think the last two shots definitely gave them a little bit of runs that they need on the scoreboard. We have Abdul now joining us back into the commentary box.
What are you doing, man?
Oh, a bit of miscommunication there amongst the fielders, giving away some runs.
That's TMU's coach screaming his lungs out.
So let me turn the tables on you. How do you think Canada will do in the World Cup next year?
I think Canada does have a potential to upset one of the big names in cricket because if they've come and played strongly against Ireland, that victory has definitely given confidence. And I think someone who's got ODI status and that World Cup qualifier league stage one that has been very dominant by them. I think cricket is a game that humbles you any sport because every game is a fresh game you take on, and then how they've bounced back, there's still got a potential to be in that qualifier stage. I do think that Canada has a lot of potential as a team. They might be able to upset one or two big names there.
Absolutely, we've seen some big name upsets in recent years, right? So I think all the big countries have to be on notice that every match is going to be competitive and anyone can win on any day.
Of course, because especially when you take the rise of Nepal as well, if you can consider the recent series between West Indies, a full-fledged Test cricket nation,
Hmm.
being washed out by a team that's on the rise. It has been same with Afghanistan as well. So I think
Hmm.
a bit more cricket to highlight to your point, which you've already mentioned correctly. I think a bit of more cricket, the rise in demand, just fulfilling the need and providing the right infrastructure. I think that that'll be taking us right where we have to be.
Absolutely.
10 overs done, 61 for 3, and we will keep Steven alongside us to pick his brain after this over.
Okay, thank you. Good shot there. Swept aside for four. Was a man there and just couldn't get there in time. But it's amazing to see the growth of the game at the university level, and to see the organization here. A lot of volunteers taking this on. So it's really great to see the grassroots really rising to the level of demand in the game. No.
It's an appeal there. I think it might have brushed down the pad of the batter.
Yeah.
And to draw a bit of more similarity, the identicals from baseball and cricket, you mentioned something about grassroots level, and for CCUC, partnered along with TD. TD is more focused now on developing the grassroots level cricket as well. How important do you think you've grown in this environment for cricket to grow? How important is that grassroots level being developed?
I think having sponsors like TD and having big corporations step up is a good sign of it's a recognition that the game is growing, and that it does impact a wide range of communities across the country. And so I think that that's a great sign. That is really an endorsement, because companies like TD are not going to put their money in places that they don't see a return or value. And I think they see the amount of young people playing. Oh, what a shot.
He's launched that one, gets half a dozen. There's nowhere there. The ball was screaming and going to the boundary for 6 runs.
Never a doubt about that one.
Had some good fours on the shot, Stephen.
Absolutely, yeah. This has been an expensive over for the bowler, but a great over for TMU. Again, being a journalist, I think I have to maintain my objectivity here. Although, as I mentioned, I did go to TMU, so you can take that for what it's worth.
Very much professional. I could sense that in this pause that you had. That okay, how am I gonna phrase it? That's fine, because as a journalist as well, someone does a good job, you gotta laud them and pat on the back, saying that that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah, no, we got to appreciate good cricket. So, and it's a beautiful day too. We have to really be thankful for the amazing weather in the beginning of October. To be out here in short sleeves, I think it's just fantastic. And hopefully, all our viewers around the world watching this will get a chance to.
Beautiful.
Oh,
That's absolutely class there.
fantastic! Yeah, he's really on a good knock right now, isn't he? What's he up to?
What looked like a slow and a steady start looks like TMU has got rid of their crutches and started coming running towards the target they've had
What
in
would
their
you
mind.
see as a good target here on this pitch?
Anything over 140. I think if with the TMU, if they continue to bat on like this, they've still got a potential to score 140, 150,
Yeah.
because they have a very heavy spin diet. They've got two specific bowlers that I would say that 8 overs, sorry, yeah, 8 overs from those two bowlers, Shazil Salman, the captain himself, and Kunal if he's playing today. Yep. So I think those overs are going to be very important for Brock Badges to get through.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks like TMU is really putting their foot on the gas here and being aggressive in these last few overs. So we'll see if they can continue that.
They needed one shot to release the pressure, and I think one of those shots that went out of the park on Dufferin Street, that was the release shot.
There we go. Another beautiful shot. Yeah, you can see. I think the nerves are out. They're looking a lot more loose out there now.
That's a poor delivery. Having no fielder, no protection there, and you're bowling shot, and he's picking his gaps with precision.
Hmm. Yeah, you can see the field is being rearranged a bit now as a result of that, which you just pointed out. Might be too little, too late though.
Because as a bowler, if you've got a field set up on the offside and you're bowling shorter, it's going to give easy accessibility to the batter.
Hmm.
Got to make sure as a captain and as a bowler, you are breathing, having the same mind.
Absolutely.
One breathe, one mind.
Yep. Yeah, communication on the field is so important. Ooh.
How important are the all-rounders for baseball? Just like I hear about Otani being one of those names.
He is a unicorn though. I mean, he is such a unique player that all rounders don't really exist in baseball. You have everyone's a specialist. You have left-handed pitching who come in to handle certain situations. You have batters who are good in certain situations. You have players who are better runners or fielders. Baseball has never really been similar to cricket in that you have people who can play on both sides of the ball, so to speak. And so Otani, that's part of the reason that makes him so special is that he is as dominant a pitcher as he is a batter, and there's not too many players like him. So it's one of the things I think that people who come to learn about cricket will appreciate, how you have all-rounders who can play so devastatingly as bowlers, but also as batsmen as well.
But I think, do you also believe that the landscape of that, he being a unicorn, that's going to change in the next 5, 10 years? Because I tell you this concept of cricket, that what happened 2007 when the T20 Championship played in South Africa. Then when the Indian Premier League came into picture, the Big Bash from Australia came into picture, the all-rounders were unicorn. It was a rare commodity for any cricket team, for
Hmm.
players who can bat well and bowl well. And especially as an all-rounder, you get the benchmark high, because with that batting and bowling, what you're giving is fielding. For
Hmm.
an example, you have Glenn Maxwell from Australia, and then from New Zealand you had Corey Anderson now playing for USA, and in South Africa you had the Morkel brothers, in India as well. 12 overs done, 84 for 3. So I think T20 revolutionizing now, they started thinking that how about we giving the batters part-time overs, and that changed the whole landscape. Because
Hmm.
I know baseball is a completely different game. You can have the expertise because you gotta use your shoulder, your arm to pitch the ball. Is that going to be any different, do you think?
That's a good question. I mean, you know, as young people playing the game watch the superstars of the day, that's what people tend to emulate. So, oh,
That's a shot and a half.
that's
Nothing could stop there. Even that hand from the fielder, even the deflection that raced away to the boundary.
good timing by the batsman on that, definitely. Uh, yeah, I was just saying, if you look back to the 80s when Wayne Gretzky was the star for hockey, he revolutionized how players played at the time and how people saw the ice. Then you had players like Eric Lindros, who was a bigger player. I'm using hockey as an analogy because I think of right now Connor McDavid. He's the best player in hockey, and he is a product of all of those players that have come before him. And so, a player like Otani and some of the cricketers you mentioned, people growing up now seeing that, opening their mind to different ways to play the game, different abilities. It opens the imagination of players so much more to emulate the stars that they see in front of them, and even just the level of preparation and training in youth sports now. People are playing sports year round, training like they've never had before, and so you're developing new kinds of athletes that you know back in the day I don't think people would ever have thought could have existed. So you definitely are seeing people playing the game in new and exciting ways. And I think when you have players like Otani and some of the new superstars in cricket encouraging and inspiring the young people of today, I think we're only going to see those facets of the game grow.
And I think this is where I believe that the grassroots level cricket or any grassroots level game comes into picture, solidifies the aspiration of any cricketer or any player who's looking to play for their nation or be it franchise level. Because having that format or the foundation in grassroots level, having that facility, having the right equipment and having right people with the right organization, that helps you to open up your mind as well and give you the right training.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What are we at now? It's 13 overs, 87 for 3. But I appreciate you guys having me on today. Thank you so much, and keep up the great work and keep showcasing the sport. And thank you for bringing this to the masses. It's amazing work you're doing. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Stephen, for taking your precious time out. I know it's a tough job being a journalist as well. You being here, supporting the lads, supporting this organization. It does mean more than word and more than support, because coming out just on numbers, it just says that how the sports is growing and there's support from where it needs to come, from right people, right places.
Absolutely. Best of luck to all the players and all the teams out there for the rest of the afternoon.
I hope you have a great afternoon and a great evening as well.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thirteen overs. This is the 14th, 88 for 3. And it was pleasure having Steven D'Souza from CBC. Despite his busy schedule, came here to support us, support the growth of cricket in TD Men's National Championship. Important. And you've got renowned people highlighting the importance of game, university level games, he being the alum of TMU. While he's gone, I'm sure he's going to still follow the game and root for his team. Arav batting on 38 of 34. Yash on 35 of 29. Better looking strike rate than Arav. Change of pace. 88 for 3. Still 140 on cards for TMU. Well, those 2 wickets and a run out. Apart from that, I do think the bowlers of Brock Badgers have been a bit docile, harmless to the batting unit here. And the key factor the batters constructed their innings upon is the singles that we've spoken about so very often, having big gaps in the field. They're trying to utilize it. Sky high. That's sky high. Fielder settling it. Will be a good catch here. What a take it is from Shivan Kumar. Has taken a running catch. Safe pair of hands. And he would be delighted with that take. That'll be the end of Arav's inning. Scored 38 for 36. Almost popping out of his hand. Managed to collect it. It'll be Yaqub, the new batter, replacing Arav. 89 for 4. And that has been the attempt from the Brock Badgers, where they could have exploited when the TMU lost their initial 3 wickets. There was a chance for them to capitalize and put the pressure onto the batting team. But I do feel that there was a miss of opportunity from the Brock Badgers, and TMU has considered that well and built their innings upon it. Played that. He smoked that one. That's a 6. That's a deeper pocket of the ground, and he's managed to connect that. That's some way to start your innings. Right there, half tracker. Flex your muscle. And there's more like a jab there, not a proper flow of bat. That's brute force from Yaqub. First ball. And his confidence must be high. Scooped up. Fielder settling in. Takes a comfortable catch there. First ball 6. Wanted to take on. And it's Syed Abdullah who has the last laugh. Dismisses. And what a good comeback from him. First ball 6 and a wicket there. Pitched up. Wanted to play into the offside. Spat turning in his hand. Good job in the circle.
95. 95.
Still, the TMU can believe they can have 140 on the cards. And a catch drop that went in the over by Arshdeep Kalra. And there's that ecstatic wicket for Hassan Raza. Gets the off stump crooked here. Strikes onto the off stump. Hassan Raza Would have would have had a wicket in the first over, but the drop chance. He says he's going to strike the stump. Has a better plan to get rid of Yash Patel. Was well set, and you've got two well set batters back in the dugout. Take a look. Just clips onto his off stump. Hassan Raza finally getting a wicket on his name on semi-final day. Kunal, new to the crease, Aman alongside Aman. And as it goes, Brock Badges might be missing the trick here to contain the batters in the crease to try that single, because you've got two new batters at this phase. You got to put the pressure on. You got to choke them, dry those singles, force them to play a rash shot. Nice line. Very composed, Hassan Raza. As a left-armer, his angle on that wicket ball that he got off, it's not coming in. The batter might have expected the way he brought his arm when he finished off his delivery. Would have expected some seam movement, and the angle completely deceived. Make it 99, 5 overs remaining here. 10 and over will take them to 150. 130 at least TMU would be thinking to have it to defend. Janseni, 2 overs, 6 runs that he's given. Oh no! Oh, poor! That's a horrendous effort there. That's probably novice level of cricket played there. Absolute nowhere. The catch bursting out of his hands. Too loose of an effort. One more drop there from the right position. Skipper replacing the fielder. That has to be close. Plum. And it's Giant Sani. No support there from the fielders today for the bowlers. And despite that, right there, moved across on the right pad. Gets the wicket. 6 wickets down. Safi survives the cry. Whereas we thought about 130, 140, it does look austere for TMU to get to that mark unless and until they find some boundaries here, be it by luck, be it by skill. That's driven away. 16 overs done, 106 for 7. Hassan Raza in his final over, 16 overs, 106 on the scorecard with 7 wickets down. And that's the partnership between Arav and Yash that helped TMU get to the mark. Also, lack of support from field today from Brock Badges. Good take. Behind the stumps, Manav Patel. That's played well. Connect, misfield. And he deserved a boundary on that shot, was hit with force. But very unfortunate to see the field effort. One thing which has stayed common today was the field effort, which has got bad to worse. And also the scoring areas today for TMU has been most of it, the sixes come in was from the leg side, and that's the length for Brock Badgers. If they're getting into the finals, that's where they would want to work upon, because this innings is almost done now. And I think somewhere there might be a shot again. Short ball, and that's dispatched. That goes for a 6 run. That'll be another half a dozen collected. Half tracker, no pace, nothing menacing about that delivery. Tried slow one. Two new batters, and I still fail to understand the strategy of the captain of Brock Badgers here. End of 17 overs, 119 for 7. You've got two new batters who've just come in. They've lost 7 wickets. That's slapped away. 120. And I'll have to re-evaluate after telling 130 might be difficult because Safi's played a good knock. Kunal giving the strike back to him. He's got a 6, he's got a boundary, and he's doing the right thing. Change of pace. A bit on the slower side. He can be proven expensive. Abdullah bowling in the final phase of the game, 18th over, and this is what Safi would have expected. Anything shorter, anything on the pads is going to disappear. Just like that. Just like that, like we talk. Short ball. That's poor reading. He was committed, knew exactly what the bowler was going to do. Batting on 200, that's his strike rate. Best of the lot today in the morning. You can never say that he's come after losing 7 wickets. And the way he's batting, he's lighting up ground A here at King City. Take another one. No connection, but there's intent. And we haven't spoken about intent today all day long because it has been that type of a day for the batters today. They've been rusty, they've held themselves back instead of coming out and expressing this is a big game. You get it. We understand this, but not playing to the fullest of your potential, that's not going to get you anywhere. 7 runs coming, 126. If somehow they breach that mark of 140, TMU would be giving a pat on their back and saying, we've done here good. Somewhere we were struggling in the power play. Comes down, whipped away. We were struggling in power play. We had lost 2 wickets there early on. And then we only had 35 runs to where we've come. It's just phenomenal. 127 for 7, 18 overs completed, 12 balls that remain in the first innings. Even with run a ball, it's going to give them 140 on target. Just with that 12 runs in 2 overs, is still going to get them to 140. 139 is what they might be scoring. 140, their target set up. But as a bowling team, as a captain, you'd say that where even have we lost the game? That is because 2 wickets lost early, runs not coming in, batters struggling, and then suddenly out of nowhere, first half of the innings done, 10 overs done, you're even at 50, 60 runs, and then suddenly you just take a boost with the partnership that grew. Yash's wicket and Arav, who played very calculatively. And reading the batter as well with Kunal, his task has been to give the strike back to Safi, who's batting with a strike rate of 200, almost to 200. That's wide. That's a mistake. Should be looking to come back for the second one, but will be happy. Wide plus an extra. And he has been pick of the bowlers today, Jayant Saini, with an economy of 4.80. Got a wicket on his name. Picking up better areas on the wicket to bowl instead of going onto the pads, giving length to the batter to come down and hit. I'm expecting one big shot at least in this over from Safi. You could see that they've almost tried to play cross-batted shots, not a straight bat. If that's the case, I would still say one of the fielders and long on or long off can be bought in. At least the long off. He's bowled well, Jayant Saini today. Despite lack of support in the field, that misfield on Hassan Raza's bowling as well. Couple of drop catches, more than couple in fact, 2 catches here at short third man we've seen from the same fielder. One right his palms popped out and one towards his left. Then in the very first over of Hassan Raza, a sitter of a catch dropped. It was a very good over. I reckon 6 runs at least coming off it, or 7. 6 runs coming off this over. Yep. And 134. This is where the predictions were. 135.
No, I missed middle. That's why. No, it was a dot. That's what missed. No, it wasn't. That was wide on.
Oh, crack! That's cracked and gone. Even further. This is the biggest. When I say this is the biggest, it just gets better and better here. Moved across in the slot, down on one knee. He's going to frame that shot. He's going to frame it. He's going to get some stories. That is one of the biggest juggernaut today. Score off his bat. Take a look at that one. What power, what timing, what connection. Just goes over the nets onto the road. And 140, they'll be super pleased, mighty happy with that effort. And if I was the captain, if I would be thinking, everyone who are watching, our spectators as well, would be thinking, Kunal, rotated the strike and gave Safi the strike back, and this is what it resulted. Back to back dots. Good comeback from Abdullah after being hit for a six. Might be looking to connect one. Should be looking to push for two here. They've got wickets in hand. Will be a free run. 142. Brock Badgers have got no one but themselves to blame. Go fetch that! Go fetch that! He sent that one to the cleaners. 6 runs. Safi Khan showing his power, showing his brute force today. Batting at 200. He has been thrashing the ball, dealing in sixes and boundaries. Safi Khan in all fashion, being exuberant. Sky high, should be not bothered. It does look like it's going to be dropped. Yes, it is dropped, and a boundary. Oh my goodness, it's going to get 6. What a finish from Safi Khan. Take a bow. He's played a cameo. TMU, you have a savior. He's taken down Brock Badgers as a gushing wave crashing onto them. That's a 6. 154 while 130, 140 were predictions, and Safi Khan and his power today has helped TMU. That's the scorecard. Isaiah Fernandez, Rusty, Arth Kuyasekar, that run out unfortunately. And the partnership between RF Kuyasekar and Yash Patel has been instrumental today for this total to be set up. Yaqub Ansari just playing a short glimpse with a 6. And then how about this man, Safi Khan? You gotta be very careful here with the innings. Kunal played 8 runs, 11 balls, gave the strike back to Safi Khan, scoring 38 in 17 balls. Whereas for the Brock University, they've got 8 bowlers they've used, but still bit of more ordinary effort. So far, the expensive out of the lot, Arshdeep Kalra, who's got only 2 overs. The fall of wicket, you can see 21-26. 2 wickets early on, and then the wicket coming. The 4th wicket on 89. That's the partnership that was built. And then on 95, and then it's the Reds, the history with Safi Khan. Need 155 in 20 overs. We're coming short for the second innings. Welcome back. Innings number second on the first semi-final of the day. And like we mentioned, it is Kunal who's got the ball. Very first over, very first ball, gets a wicket. And what a positive start here for TMU. It's going to be an important wicket. Sahil and Jayant. 152 needed more in 116 balls. That's there, very tight. Clean bowling from Kunal. Just keeps it very tight, troubles the batter. Has got a good accuracy with the new ball as a spinner. He has been my pick of the bowler for the tournament, especially his control, his... Oh, through the hands, could have been one more wicket. 4 runs, should have been a wicket there. There's a fielder there, he was begging for a chance, he got there, overrunning. Chance dropped. That is Sahil's wicket, which is very important for the Brock Badgers. After an over, 7 runs with a wicket. Has a very good day. Yash Patel today with the bat in hand. Was productive for the team. Was able to build the partnership with Arif Koesekar. His 30-odd runs. And I think that's the part where the Brock Badgers started losing the game from their hands, from their control. Too wide. Too wide. Needed 3 other stumps for the batter and a left-hander playing that ball. Going at 10 and over. Just when we talk about one of the facets of the game, which has been very ordinary today, has been fielding to me, especially with the effort put in by Brock Badgers and that first catch dropped on Kunal's first over. There's that one for you. It's going through the hands. He overruns, nowhere in control. Where you can see the result, what happened in the first innings was innings built upon, target mounted, and Brock Badgers under pressure now. Right in there. Seam movement. Batter expecting that one to go away. Umpire giving it a wide. But just contains in the tram line. Gonna get hotter today as we progress towards the afternoon. Two wides coming off this over. Was an excellent ramp up to the run rate from Safi Khan of TMU in the final phase of the innings. That's played away, new ball that's going to run away, and the fielder does the hard yards. Excellent effort there. Coming back, good coordination between the wickets there. Should have got at least 2, I suppose. 3 runs. And he's going to be important wicket. Whereas Sahil, we've seen on the 25th Niagara Cricket Centre against McGill University, Wilfred Laurier. He came out in all colours. It's going along the lines I was hearing about Yash Patel being one of the fast-paced bowlers in TMU, that he's going to hold the key alongside Kunal and Shazil. 12 overs is something that you got to be mindful about. That's a ripper, making the batter smell the leather. 12 overs, you've got 4 overs from Yash that he's going to bowl, 4 overs of Shazil Salman, the captain, and then Kunal. You got to take in consideration Abhay as well. He's one of the pick of the captain. Nicely bowled. Kept away in the block hole. Very different body language of the teams here. Brock Badgers, however, 2 overs done, 15 for 1, 140 still required. Fires that one between the stump. Played well. Absolutely masterclass there. Smooth, as easy as you like, easy on your eyes. Sahil gets a boundary. The timing. Didn't try to overhead the ball, just fondling it with the pace. Because Kunal bowls quicker through the air and he's got that pace, not a regular off spinner for you. That would give more flight and you'd be having a little bit of more timing to collect your thoughts and play. And gotta keep this onslaught on. Throw the bowler off his balance. Cries of catches. Should be an easy one. Nowhere near. Poor execution from Sahil. After a boundary, could have been a bit more calculative than throwing his bat onto the ball. Ends up giving his wicket away for free. Kunal gets another one. He's been spectacular with his bowling line length economy, Kunal. Let's take a look at that one. A tad bit short of the previous ball bowled. Early on, understands, assesses the batter, what went wrong in the first delivery. Immediately rectified on this one, gets the wicket. Shivan Kumar is the new batter, replacing Sahil. You can also make out with the body language. 2 wickets lost even in bowling despite taking 2 early wickets on. It's just not the modus operandi for the Brock Badgers today. It's not the regular day. You'd say that they would be super excited. They've got their shoulders down. A bit of underconfident team today. And how about this man on your screen? He's got 2 wickets. Superb control. Playing around with the batter. Quick work from Isaiah Fernandez behind the stumps. Usually on the move like a ball, rolling. Super quick with his swift hands. Was a bit rusty today with the bat in hand. One thing you gotta keep in mind that yes, 150 is a par score, but as a team that you're coming on to bat on, you gotta keep your confidence high to a level, thinking that if they've managed to come back, if they've managed to build an innings after losing two quick wickets, then why not us? A fantastic ball to end the over. 3 overs done, 19 for 2. 136 needed. Drifting down the leg side. Changes for both the teams today. Sansajad missing out from the TMU squad. Whereas for Brock Badges, the captain was mentioning he might have had a couple of players who were not present for the game today. Might be that psychological barrier. Not sure what it was appealed for. Because was going down the leg, not even close to the pad or the bat. Way too wide. Gotta be enthusiastic appeal. .3, 22 for 2. They are at the same stage where TMU was at once when their innings started. Required is 8 and over. Going at 6.29 currently. Need a bit of positivity. Might be that cheer from the dugout might help the batters. This is power play having fielding restriction on. You've got only two fielders outside the circle and you've only lost 2 wickets and you'd want your batters to approach the game with positivity, have that optimistic mindset. There's pressure building on Shivan Kumar. Played 5 balls. Soon we might be able to see a release shot coming. Throws his bat. Completes easy 2 runs. End of 4th over. 24 for 2. Going 6th and over. 10 overs done, halfway through the second innings, and an excellent shot. Swept and swept well by Jayant Saini. It was with a ball in his hand, and now he does the job with the bat as well. He is one ray of hope for the team here. In the dark clouds, he stands still as a light for Brock Badgers. 33 runs scored in 31 balls. Shivan Kumar batting on 11 of 20. He needs support from Shivan, just not to defend but to get the strike back to him. And there's that wicket, quicker one, Shazil Salman. While the things were going good, it just feels like a commentator's curse upon Jayant Saini. He's out of nowhere. Cross leg, struck in front. He's played a good hand, very good hand here. When the wickets were tumbling from one end, scored 33 runs in 32. With a little bit of revive that came from Jayant Saini. Now it is time for Shivan Kumar to take on the charge because he's faced 20 balls and it is Syed Ahmed Abdullah who's new to the crease. That would give him some time. Required 9.10 an over. Keeping it under 10, I think Brock Badgers would still have a chance. Anything about 10, they are out of the race here to chase it. Not sure if they've got the batting power. There's Manav Patel who's to come after this wicket. Cleaned up. Does the job one more time. Shazil Salman strikes on the stump. He likes it and his team likes it. Played across. A terrible way to get out. Bit of nowhere. His leg stump rocked on. Two wickets for Shazil in this over. First ball off the strike. End of 11th over. 69 for 4. New bowler into the attack for the day, Abhay. 86 runs required from 53 balls. That should be close. That should be close. And yes, just a little bit of drift and the batter getting lucky there. Going down the leg says. Moves on to his right there, the batter that saves him. Trying to cut. Getting nothing but thin air. There's a big gap there. Looking to come back for the second. Easy runs. Last ball of the 12th over. Getting only 2 runs to add this one will be a third. End of 12 overs. 72 for 4. 10 and over needed. It does look like the game's running away from the hands of the Brock Badgers. 2 more overs and it'll be a matter of formality. One more down, and it is Abdullah who's been a guest for a couple of minutes on the wicket. Out of Kwasekar. Change of pace, exposing his stumps, nowhere. A little bit frightened kind of shot from Said Ahmed Abdullah. 5 wickets down, and I do see a couple of supporters in the comment section for Brock. Must be disappointing them to see Brock lose this game. It'll be Mikhail replacing Syed. Caught off the toe end of the bat. That's a good collect. Good bounce off the wicket for Arav. 3 runs coming off the over and a wicket too. And for you guys to keep you on your toes for the selection of the finalist, UTSG need 35 runs and 5 overs. They've lost 4 wickets. The game is coming down close. Saad Rahman batting on 69 of 52. 4 fours, 3 sixes. That's played up. Should be taken. It should be taken, and it is a comfortable catch. One more. Manaf Patel going down. Lost his wicket after scoring 6 runs. Arshdeep Kalra, captain of the team, does have his team in great peril here. will come in a boundary. They'll enjoy this boundary. It's come off the bat of Mikhail. Top edge. Cries of catches, but in no man's land. 17 overs done. 94 for 8. 18 balls, 61 needed. After a wicket, it looks like a close game where 12 runs are needed for UTSC in 12 balls. This has been one of the exciting games. UTSG won. UTSC जीत गया. Quick update between the game between UTSC and Ontario Tech University. Ontario Tech University have been pushed out of the finals race. UTSC Cricket Club winning by 3 wickets in the final over. Whereas here does look like TMU and UTSC for a final. Just 4 balls away. Final ball for TMU to march into finals to defend their title into the 2025 TD Men's National Championship. And that's the game for TMU. And it has been a crushing defeat for Brock Badgers. TMU winning the game by 47 runs, I suppose. Just going to give you that confirmation. And it has to go that man on your screen, Saif Khan, who played a knock, gem of an innings in the end. Came in, added touch of gold to the innings of TMU. It's a solid performance by TMU, played like champions, winning by 48 runs. And that's the scorecard. Nobody got going except for Jayant Saini. It has been his day today from Brock Badgers. But nonetheless, they are still on the losing side. No one except for 3 batters scoring in double digits. That's Sahil Mehta, Jayant Saini, and 10 bowlers used. Everyone under 7. And one of the bowlers, Arth Kuyasekar, going for 12 and over. That was his first over, and the fall of wickets. They never really got started. It was a good start in the first over. And then 18 runs also that the team got by extras. This is it. TMU march into finals to face UTSC for that silverware TD Men's National Championship 2025.